First contact and tension. The vast expanse of space had never felt so oppressive to Captain Sarah Chen as she stood on the bridge of the UES Horizon, Earth's most advanced exploration vessel. The tension in the air was palpable, a stark contrast to the excitement that had permeated the ship just days ago when they had made first contact with the Zarkonian Empire. Status report. Sarah barked, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the approaching Zarkonian fleet. Lieutenant Rodriguez, her second-in-command, responded without hesitation. 5 Zarkonian warships approaching, Captain. Their weapons are hot, and they're not responding to our hails. Sarah clenched her jaw. The diplomatic mission had gone south faster than anyone could have anticipated. What had started as a peaceful exchange of knowledge and culture had devolved into accusations of espionage and threats of war. Now, it seemed, the Zarkonians had decided to skip the formalities and jump straight to annihilation. All hands to battle stations, Sarah commanded, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her insides. Shields up, weapons online. Let's show these aliens what humans are made of. As klaxons blared throughout the ship, Sarah couldn't help but reflect on the irony of the situation. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for centuries, imagining it as a moment of unity and enlightenment. Instead, they found themselves facing extinction at the hands of a technologically superior race that saw them as little more than vermin. The first volley from the Zarkonian ships lit up the void, a dazzling display of destructive power that made Sarah's heart skip a beat. The UES Horizon shuddered as its shields absorbed the impact, the energy readouts on the holographic display dropping alarmingly. Return fire, Sarah ordered. Target their lead ship's propulsion systems. If we can't outgun them, we'll outmaneuver them. The Horizon's pulse cannons roared to life, sending streaks of blue energy hurtling towards the Zarkonian fleet. To Sarah's surprise and relief, several shots found their mark, causing visible damage to the alien vessels. How is that possible? Rodriguez exclaimed. Their technology should be decades ahead of ours. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Never underestimate human determination, Lieutenant. We may be outgunned, but we're not outmatched. As the battle raged on, it became clear that while the Zarkonians had superior firepower, they lacked the tactical flexibility of the human crew. Sarah's quick thinking and the Horizon's agile design allowed them to dance between the alien ships, striking vulnerable points and avoiding the worst of their attacks. But it wasn't enough. For every hit they landed, the Horizon took 2 in return. The ship's systems were failing, and the crew was exhausted. Sarah knew they couldn't keep this up forever. Captain, the ship's AI, Araya, chimed in. I've detected a weakness in the Zarkonian shield matrix. If we can get close enough to their command ship, we might be able to disable their entire fleet with a concentrated EMP burst. Sarah's mind raced, weighing the risks against the potential reward. It was a suicide mission, but it might be their only chance to survive and protect Earth from the Zarkonian threat. Plot a course, Araya, Sarah said, her voice filled with grim determination. All power to engines and shields. We're going to thread the needle. The Horizon surged forward, weaving through a hail of enemy fire. The ship groaned and creaked, pushed to its absolute limits. Sarah gripped her command chair, silently urging the vessel to hold together for just a few more moments. As they closed in on the Zarkonian command ship, a massive vessel that dwarfed the Horizon, Sarah gave the order. Now, Araya, fire the EMP. A pulse of electromagnetic energy erupted from the Horizon, washing over the Zarkonian fleet. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then, one by one, the alien ships began to drift, their lights flickering and dying. It worked. Rodriguez shouted, disbelief and joy mingling in his voice. Their systems are offline. Sarah allowed herself a moment of relief before snapping back into action. Open a channel to Earth. We need to warn them about the Zarkonian threat and prepare for potential retaliation. As the adrenaline of battle faded, Sarah realized the true magnitude of what they had accomplished. Humanity had faced its first extraterrestrial threat and emerged victorious against all odds. But she knew this was only the beginning. The universe had just become a much more dangerous place, and humanity would need to adapt quickly if they hoped to survive. As Sarah prepared to deliver her report to Earth's leaders, she couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter had set in motion events that would change the course of human history forever. Little did she know, deep within the disabled Zarkonian command ship, something was stirring. A fail-safe system, hidden from even the Zarkonians themselves, began to power up. The true test of humanity's resolve was yet to come. Human ingenuity unveiled. The aftermath of the battle with the Zarkonian fleet left the crew of the UES Horizon in a state of cautious elation. As Captain Sarah Chen stood before the holographic display in the ship's conference room, she couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and trepidation. The faces of Earth's top military and political leaders stared back at her, their expressions a blend of awe and concern. "Let me get this straight, Captain Chen," General Zhou said, leaning forward. "You not only survived an encounter with a technologically superior alien force, but managed to disable their entire fleet." Sarah nodded, her posture rigid. "Yes, sir. Thanks to the quick thinking of our AI, and the bravery of my crew, we were able to exploit a weakness in their shield matrix." The room erupted in murmurs, a mix of excitement and disbelief. Sarah waited patiently for the noise to die down before continuing. "However, we can't afford to rest on our laurels. The Zarkonians will undoubtedly regroup and retaliate. We need to prepare Earth's defenses and find a way to level the playing field." Dr. Amelia Reyes, the lead scientist of Earth's Defense Technology Division, spoke up. "Captain, your encounter with the Zarkonians has provided us with invaluable data. We've already begun analyzing the energy signatures from their weapons and shields. I believe we can reverse engineer some of their technology." Sarah felt a glimmer of hope. "That's excellent news, Dr. Reyes. How soon can we expect results?" "With a traditional R&D approach, it could take years," Dr. Reyes admitted. "But I have a more unconventional proposal." The holographic display shifted, showing a complex neural network diagram. "We've been developing an advanced AI system designed specifically for technological innovation. By feeding it the data from your encounter and giving it access to our entire scientific database, we might be able to accelerate the process exponentially." General Zhao frowned. "Are you suggesting we put the fate of humanity in the hands of a machine?" "With all due respect, General," Sarah interjected, "it was the combined efforts of human intuition and AI assistance that allowed us to survive the Zarkonian attack. We need every advantage we can get." After hours of heated debate, a consensus was reached. The AI project, codenamed Prometheus, would be given the green light. Weeks passed in a flurry of activity. The Horizon underwent repairs while its crew assisted with the Prometheus project. Sarah found herself splitting her time between overseeing the ship's refit and providing first-hand accounts of the Zarkonian encounter to the AI's developers. 1 month after the initial attack, Sarah stood in the heart of the Prometheus facility, surrounded by banks of quantum computers. Dr. Reyes approached, her eyes alight with excitement. "Captain Chen, you're just in time. Prometheus is about to present its first round of innovations." The air hummed with anticipation as holographic projections sprang to life around them. Sarah's eyes widened as she took in the schematics for advanced shield modulators, adaptive energy weapons, and faster-than-light communication arrays. "This is incredible," Sarah breathed. "With this technology, we might actually stand a chance against the Zarkonians." Dr. Reyes nodded, her expression a mix of pride and concern. "Yes, but there's more. Prometheus has extrapolated beyond mere defensive measures. It's proposing, well, see for yourself." The holographic display shifted, revealing plans for a massive space station unlike anything Sarah had ever seen. Its design was an elegant fusion of human and Zarkonian aesthetics, bristling with advanced weaponry and sensor arrays. Prometheus calls it the Aegis, Dr. Rice explained, a forward operating base capable of defending Earth and launching counteroffensives against the Zarkonian Empire. Sarah's mind raced with the implications. The resources required to build something like this. It would take a unified global effort. Precisely. A new voice chimed in. Sarah turned to see UN Secretary-General Adebayo entering the room. Which is why I'm here. Captain Chen, your actions have opened the door to a new era for humanity. We're about to announce the formation of a united Earth Defense Force, with you as its first admiral. Sarah's jaw dropped. Sir, I'm honored, but surely there are more qualified candidates. Adebayo shook his head. You've faced the Zarkonians and lived to tell the tale. More importantly, you understand the delicate balance between human intuition and artificial intelligence. We need your leadership now more than ever. As the weight of responsibility settled on her shoulders, Sarah's resolve hardened. I accept, Mr. Secretary General. What's our first move? We build the Aegis, Adebayo said firmly, and we prepare for the fight of our lives. The next few months were a whirlwind of activity. The announcement of the Zarkonian threat and the formation of the United Earth Defense Force sent shockwaves through human society. But faced with extinction, the people of Earth rallied together with unprecedented unity. Resources poured in from every nation. The best scientists, engineers, and soldiers from around the world volunteered for the Aegis project. Guided by Prometheus's innovations and Sarah's leadership, progress moved at a blistering pace. 6 months after the initial Zarkonian attack, the Aegis space station hung in Earth orbit, a testament to human determination and ingenuity. Sarah stood on its command deck, surrounded by a crew representing every corner of the globe. Admiral, her XO reported, long-range sensors are detecting a massive energy signature approaching the solar system. It matches Zarkonian warp signatures, but it's larger than anything we've seen before. Sarah took a deep breath, steeling herself for the challenge ahead. Sound General Quarters. Inform Earth that the Zarkonians have returned. It's time to show them what humanity is truly capable of. As klaxons blared throughout the Aegis, Sarah couldn't help but feel a sense of irony. Humanity had come together, pushing the boundaries of science and engineering, all because of the threat posed by the Zarkonians. In their attempt to destroy humanity, the aliens had inadvertently pushed them to new heights. The real test was about to begin. But this time, humanity was ready. As the first Zarkonian ships appeared on the edge of the solar system, Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. The aliens were in for one hell of a surprise. Alien counterattack. The void of space erupted into a dazzling display of light as the Zarkonian armada dropped out of warp. Admiral Sarah Chen stood stoically on the command deck of the Aegis, her eyes fixed on the tactical hologram. The sheer number of enemy ships made her breath catch in her throat, but she refused to let her anxiety show. Status report, she ordered, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Her XO, Commander Yuki Tanaka, responded promptly. Zarkonian fleet consists of over 500 ships, including what appears to be a massive command vessel nearly twice the size of the Aegis. They're holding position just beyond Mars' orbit. Sarah nodded, her mind racing through potential strategies. And our forces. The Aegis is at full combat readiness. Earth's planetary defense grid is online, and we have a fleet of 200 ships equipped with Prometheus-enhanced technology standing by. A tense silence fell over the command deck. They were outnumbered more than 2 to 1, but Sarah knew that raw numbers didn't tell the whole story. Humanity had made incredible strides in the past 6 months, thanks to Prometheus and the united efforts of Earth's best minds. Open a channel to the Zarkonian fleet, Sarah commanded. Let's see if we can avoid bloodshed. Moments later, the holographic display flickered, revealing the alien visage of the Zarkonian Supreme Commander. Its iridescent scales shimmered in the light, multiple eyes blinking in an unsettling rhythm. Humans, The alien's voice reverberated through the command deck, a mix of clicks and low rumbles translated by their advanced "eh." Your unprovoked attack on our exploratory fleet will not go unanswered. Surrender your weapons and prepare for assimilation into the Zarkonian Empire, or face annihilation. Sarah stepped forward, her posture radiating confidence she didn't entirely feel. Supreme Commander, I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. Your ships entered our space without warning and attacked when we attempted peaceful communication. We defended ourselves, as is our right. We have no desire for conflict, but make no mistake, we will not surrender our autonomy or our planet. The Zarkonian commander's eyes narrowed. Your species is young and ignorant of the greater galactic community. The strong survive by subjugating the weak. You will learn this lesson today. The transmission cut off abruptly. Sarah turned to her crew, her expression grim. Battle stations, everyone. Let's show these aliens what humanity is made of. The Zarkonian fleet surged forward, their weapons charging with an ominous glow. But humanity was ready. As the alien armada entered range, the Aegis unleashed its first surprise, a massive electromagnetic pulse, amplified by technology reverse-engineered from the previous encounter. Dozens of Zarkonian ships faltered, their systems temporarily overloaded. The human fleet seized the opportunity, darting forward in attack formations that would have been impossible just months ago. Prometheus-enhanced weapons tore through alien shields, while adaptive defense systems absorbed and redistributed enemy fire. Sarah watched the battle unfold, issuing orders and adjusting strategies on the fly. The human ships moved with a fluidity that seemed to confound the Zarkonians, their tactics a perfect blend of AI-driven efficiency and human unpredictability. But the aliens were far from defeated. As the initial shock wore off, they began to adapt, their superior numbers allowing them to press the attack from multiple vectors. The space around Mars became a deadly dance of energy beams, missile swarms, and exploding ships from both sides. Admiral, Commander Tanaka called out. The Zarkonian command ship is moving into position. Energy readings are off the charts. They're charging some kind of super weapon. Sarah's mind raced. They couldn't let that weapon fire. The devastation could be unimaginable. All ships, focus fire on the command vessel's weapon ports. Aegis, prepare to activate the Helios Protocol. The Helios Protocol was Prometheus's most ambitious creation, a weaponized solar flare, directed and amplified to devastating effect. It was untested in combat, and using it could have unforeseen consequences for the solar system. But faced with the threat of the Zarkonian superweapon, Sarah knew they had no choice. As the human fleet concentrated its assault on the alien command ship, the Aegis began to hum with power. Massive solar collectors extended from the station, drinking in the sun's energy at an unprecedented rate. The Zarkonian superweapon fired, a beam of blinding energy that cut through space itself. But at that exact moment, the Aegis unleashed the Helios Protocol. A concentrated burst of solar plasma, hotter than the core of a star, met the alien beam head-on. The resulting collision sent a shockwave through the battlefield, overloading sensors and temporarily blinding both human and Zarkonian forces. When the light faded, Sarah stared in awe at the tactical display. The Zarkonian command ship was split in two, its hull glowing white-hot from the Helios Protocol's impact. For a moment, the battle seemed to pause as both sides processed what had just happened. Then, taking advantage of the confusion, Sarah issued her command. All ships, press the attack. Don't let them regroup. The human fleet surged forward with renewed vigor, tearing into the disorganized Zarkonian forces. Without their command ship and faced with weapons and tactics they couldn't have imagined, the alien armada began to falter. Hours passed in a blur of tactical decisions, near misses, and hard-fought victories. Finally, as the last Zarkonian ships retreated or surrendered, Sarah allowed herself to breathe a sigh of relief. Humanity had faced its greatest threat and emerged victorious. But as the adrenaline of battle faded, Sarah couldn't shake a feeling of unease. The Zarkonians had referred to a greater galactic community. What other threats might be lurking in the depths of space? And how would humanity's decisive victory here change their standing in this unknown interstellar political landscape? As she prepared to address her troops and report back to Earth, Sarah realized that this battle, as monumental as it was, might only be the beginning of humanity's journey among the stars. The universe had just become a much larger and more complex place, and humanity would need to rise to the challenge. Little did she know, news of the battle was already spreading faster than light across the galaxy, drawing the attention of forces both benevolent and malevolent. Humanity's true test was just beginning. Unlikely alliances. The celebration on Earth was tempered by a sense of cautious optimism. Humanity had survived its first interstellar war, but at a cost. As Admiral Sarah Chen stood before the United Nations Security Council, the weight of recent events hung heavy in the air. The Zarkonian threat has been neutralized, Sarah began, her voice echoing through the historic chamber. But we cannot afford to become complacent. Our victory has undoubtedly drawn the attention of other spacefaring civilizations. The room erupted in murmurs, a mix of concern and excitement. Secretary General Adebayo raised a hand for silence before addressing Sarah. Admiral, what do you propose as our next steps? Sarah took a deep breath. We need to expand our presence beyond Earth. The Aegis proved its worth in battle, but it's just the beginning. I propose we establish a series of deep space outposts, pushing the boundaries of our territory and our knowledge. As the Council debated the logistics and implications of such an ambitious plan, an aide rushed in, whispering urgently to the Secretary General. Adebayo's eyes widened before he turned to address the room. We've just received a transmission, he announced, his voice tight with tension. It appears to be an invitation from the Galactic Concord. The chamber fell silent as a holographic projection materialized in the center of the room. A being unlike anything they had ever seen appeared, a swirling mass of energy contained within a vaguely humanoid form. Greetings, people of Earth, the being spoke, its voice resonating directly in their minds. I am Zixlar, emissary of the Galactic Concord. Your recent conflict with the Zarkonian Empire has brought you to our attention. We extend an invitation to your species to join us in discussion. There is much to talk about. As the transmission ended, the room erupted in chaos. Sarah's mind raced with possibilities and potential threats. The Galactic Concord, a name that implied a coalition of multiple alien species. But were they friend or foe? Months of preparation followed. The Prometheus Eye worked overtime, analyzing every nuance of the alien transmission and helping to develop translation algorithms and diplomatic protocols. Finally, a delegation was chosen. A mix of political leaders, scientists, and military personnel, with Sarah at its head. The rendezvous point was a massive space station located in a neutral star system. As the human ship docked, Sarah couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the diversity of alien craft surrounding them. Species of all shapes and sizes moved through the station's corridors, some recognizably bipedal, others defying easy categorization. They were led to a vast chamber where representatives from dozens of alien civilizations were gathered. At the center stood Zixlar, the energy being who had sent the invitation. Welcome, humans. Zixlar's mental voice reverberated through the chamber. Your victory over the Zarkonians has upset a delicate balance in our galaxy. Some see you as a threat to be contained. Others view you as potential allies against greater dangers. Sarah stepped forward, her posture straight and confident. We come in peace, seeking understanding and cooperation. But we will defend ourselves if threatened. A reptilian being hissed in response. Your species advanced from primitive technology to defeating a Zarkonian armada in less than a planetary cycle. Such rapid progress is unprecedented and dangerous. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber, but they were cut short by a new voice. And yet, is not adaptation and growth the very essence of life? All eyes turned to a being that seemed to be composed of living crystal. It continued, "I am Sylith of the Coral Collective. We have observed humanity's progress with great interest. Their ability to unite in the face of external threat and their symbiotic relationship with artificial intelligence is fascinating." The debate raged for hours, with various factions arguing for everything from humanity's immediate quarantine to offering them full membership in the Galactic Concord. Through it all, Sarah and her team listened, learned, and when given the chance, presented their case for humanity's potential as galactic citizens. As the session neared its end, Zixlar raised a limb for silence. "It is clear that humanity's emergence on the galactic stage cannot be ignored. Therefore, we propose a compromise. Earth will be granted provisional membership in the Galactic Concord with certain conditions." The terms were laid out. Humanity would be allowed to establish its deep space outposts, but under the observation of Concord representatives. They would gain access to the Concord's vast knowledge banks, but in return, they had to share their unique innovations, particularly in the field of a-human cooperation. Most importantly, Earth would be tasked with a vital role. Mediators in a growing conflict between organic and synthetic life forms in a distant sector of the galaxy. As Sarah considered the proposal, she realized the incredible opportunity it presented. Humanity would have the chance to learn from countless alien civilizations, while also proving their worth on the galactic stage. "We accept your terms," Sarah declared, her voice firm and clear. As the chamber erupted in a mix of approving and concerned reactions, Sarah turned to her team. "This is just the beginning," she said, her eyes gleaming with determination. "We had a lot of work ahead of us." In the months that followed, humanity threw itself into its new role with characteristic vigor. The deep space outposts became hubs of cultural and scientific exchange. The Prometheus Eye, working in concert with alien datasets, made breakthroughs in fields ranging from faster-than-light travel to zero-point energy generation. But it was in their role as mediators that humans truly shined. Their unique perspective as a young species with a close relationship to AI allowed them to bridge the gap between organic and synthetic life forms. Slowly but surely, they began to forge unlikely alliances between beings that had been at odds for millennia. Yet, as humanity's influence grew, so did the whispers of discontent among certain factions of the Galactic Concord. Some saw the humans' rapid rise as a threat to the established order. Others coveted the unique human-AI symbiosis that had proven so effective. As Sarah stood on the observation deck of Earth's newest outpost, staring out at the star-studded expanse of the galaxy, she couldn't shake the feeling that humanity's greatest challenges and greatest triumphs were yet to come. Little did she know, forces were already in motion that would test the limits of these newfound alliances and push humanity to the very brink of its capabilities. The final stand and revelation. The serenity of deep space was shattered as alarms blared throughout the human outpost Horizon 7. Admiral Sarah Chen raced to the command center, her mind already cycling through potential scenarios. But nothing could have prepared her for the sight that greeted her on the main view screen. A massive tear in the fabric of space-time loomed before them, swirling with chaotic energy. From within its depths, ship after ship emerged, but these were unlike anything the Galactic Concord had ever encountered. "Status report," Sarah barked, her eyes fixed on the emerging threat. Her XO, now a seasoned veteran of both human and alien conflicts, responded swiftly. "Unknown vessels, Admiral. They're not matching any known configurations in the Concord database. Energy readings are impossible. They're off the charts." As if in response to their observations, a transmission cut through their communication systems. The beam that appeared on screen defied easy description. A shifting mass of energy and matter, somehow both there and not there simultaneously. "Humans," the beam's voice reverberated, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "We are the Nexus. Your meddling in the affairs of organics and synthetics has drawn our attention. Your species represents a convergence we cannot allow to continue." Sarah's mind raced. The Nexus. Whispers of their existence had circulated through the darker corners of the Galactic Concord, but most dismissed them as myth. A race of beings from another dimension, said to appear when the balance of the universe was threatened. "We've done nothing but promote peace and understanding," Sarah responded, struggling to keep her voice steady. "Our alliances have brought stability to." Stability? The Nexus being interrupted. "You've accelerated the convergence of organic and synthetic life. The barriers between dimensions weaken with each of your innovations. You cannot be allowed to continue." The transmission cut off abruptly, and the Nexus fleet began to advance. Sarah knew they were outmatched, even with the full might of the Galactic Concord behind them. The Nexus technology was beyond anything they had ever faced. But humanity had not come this far to simply roll over and die. "Send out a distress call to all Concord allies," Sarah ordered, "and get me a direct line to Prometheus." As the outpost's defenses engaged the Nexus fleet, buying precious time, Sarah connected with the AI that had been humanity's partner since the beginning of their cosmic journey. "Prometheus, we're facing an extra-dimensional threat. I need options." The AI's response was immediate. "Admiral, I've analyzed the Nexus energy signatures. They're operating on principles that defy our current understanding of physics. However, their presence is causing fluctuations in the quantum field that we might be able to exploit." What followed was a frantic exchange of ideas, a perfect synergy of human intuition and artificial intelligence. As allied ships began to arrive, answering humanity's call for aid, a plan began to take shape. The battle that ensued would be spoken of for generations across the galaxy. Human ships, guided by Prometheus, danced between dimensions, using the very instability the Nexus created against them. Alien allies brought to bear technologies beyond human understanding, their disparate approaches finding harmony in the chaos of combat. But the true key to victory came from an unexpected source: the synthetic life forms, whom humanity had worked so hard to reconcile with their organic creators, provided the missing piece of the puzzle. Their unique perspective on existence itself allowed them to perceive weaknesses in the Nexus dimensional armor that others could not see. In a maneuver that defied conventional physics, the combined fleet managed to create a resonance cascade, turning the Nexus' own interdimensional nature against them. One by one, the invading ships were drawn back into the rift from which they came. As the last of the Nexus fleet vanished and the rift began to close, a final transmission came through. The Nexus being appeared once more, but its form was fluctuating, unstable. "Perhaps we were mistaken," it said, its voice fading. "Your convergence is not a threat, but an evolution. The barriers between dimensions, between organic and synthetic, they are not meant to be permanent. You have shown us a new path." With those final words, the rift sealed itself, leaving behind a stunned but victorious Allied fleet. In the aftermath of the battle, as the full implications of what had transpired began to sink in, Sarah found herself standing before the Galactic Concord once more. But this time, the atmosphere was markedly different. Zixlar, the energy being who had first invited humanity to the galactic stage, addressed the assembly. "What we have witnessed is unprecedented. Humanity, the youngest among us, has not only united our fractious species, but has shown us a glimpse of our true potential." One by one, representatives of various alien races stood to speak. They talked of the courage shown by human forces, the ingenuity of their AI partnerships, and the bridge they had built between organic and synthetic life. But more than that, they spoke of a new understanding, a realization that the boundaries they had long thought immutable were, in fact, simply the next frontier to be explored. As the session concluded, a historic decision was reached. Humanity would no longer be merely a provisional member of the Galactic Concord. They would take a leading role in a new initiative, Project Convergence, its aim: to explore the true nature of existence itself, breaking down the barriers between dimensions, between flesh and machine, between thought and reality. Sarah stood at the podium, looking out at the assembled representatives of 100 worlds. The weight of responsibility was enormous, but so was the sense of possibility. "We stand at the dawn of a new era," she began, her voice carrying across the chamber. "An era where the very definition of life and intelligence will be rewritten. The challenges ahead are immense, but so is our collective potential. Together, we will explore not just the outer reaches of our galaxy, but the inner workings of existence itself." As applause filled the chamber, Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had not just survived its trial by fire. It had emerged as a catalyst for change on a cosmic scale. The journey ahead was uncertain, filled with both promise and peril. But one thing was clear: the universe would never be the same again. And somewhere, in the vast network of quantum processors that made up its consciousness, Prometheus processed something akin to pride. The partnership between human and AI, organic and synthetic, had proven to be more powerful than anyone could have imagined. The true nature of intelligence, of existence itself, was still to be discovered, and that journey was only just beginning.